Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be making a blueberry zucchini cake with a lemon buttercream frosting. This is a perfect cake to go for any family occasion. It's great for the summer and you're going to enjoy it. So let's get going. Okay, so we're first going to start off with zucchini, and we need to shred these about 2 cups worth. And since we are using the skin, make sure you wash it very well. Just cut the ends off. I have on my handheld cheese grater, I have a little small side, so I like to use that, but you can also use your handheld one. And then we're just gonna go until we get 2 cups. Okay, now that I got my zucchini all grated up, I'm gonna put that to the side, and we're gonna work on our sugar wet mixture. So in here I have 2 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and I'm gonna add in 1 cup of vegetable oil, or about 8 ounces, I guess it was. 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to add 3 room temperature eggs. So we're gonna mix this really good. Make sure all that egg is well combined. And then because of the blueberry and the zucchini, this is a really moist cake. I've actually only made it one time, and it was several years ago. And I don't know why I don't make it more. It's very simple. Probably because then I have a whole cake lying around my house. All right, so we're gonna fold in our zucchini. And this is all going to kind of stick together, so. And if you've never folded before and you don't know what that means, it is just literally a turn, scoop up, then cut down the middle motion. So it's scoop up from the bottom, cut through the middle. Scoop up from the bottom, cut through the middle. And that's all there is to it. All right, I think that's mixed in. Now you should have something that looks a little alien-like. I mean, the mixture's not the prettiest looking. My kids would be like, yeah, it's so gross, but it'll be yummy. All right, so now we're gonna go on to our dry ingredients. So in here I have 3 cups of flour, and I'm going to add this is 1 teaspoon baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon baking soda. I put that in there. And then I have 1 teaspoon of salt. Give it a quick mix just to combine it in through all the flour. Okay, so then we are going to add the dry to the wet. And we're gonna add it a little bit at a time. So about maybe half the flour. Just kind of mix that in. And it'll probably be easier actually if you use a like wooden spoon or something to mix it in, because mine's gonna get clumped up in here, but I'll work with what I got for right now. Okay, just add in, I can just add in the rest. All right, now we're gonna add in 2 cups of blueberries. These have already been washed, and I think I got all the stems out of them. Just put them in slowly so maybe I can see if there's stems. I think they're okay. And then we're gonna do the same motion as with the zucchini. We're gonna fold them in. That way you're not squishing the berries. All right, that looks good. All right, so I have 2 of my cake pans here. These are 8-9 inches. I cut out some parchment paper, a round piece of parchment paper to put at the bottom. I'm gonna spray a little bit of the spray on the bottom just so it sticks. And then we will spray the rest of the pan, parchment paper and all. Make sure you get the edges. Good. And do the next one. And then I'm going to use a scale just to measure out how much is in there. That way I get an even amount. We don't want that has way too much in it. It doesn't cook as fast or as well. And then they're going to be different sizes for your cake. So I'm just going to measure it out. That's the easiest way. Okay, and they're roughly the same size. So I have the oven at 350. We're going to place this on the middle rack, and we're going to cook these about 35 to 40 minutes. And you're going to want to check them halfway just to make sure one side's not getting too brown. You can kind of turn them or switch them or whatever it is that you need to do. And then once they pop out of the oven, we are going to let them cool. All right, so these just came out of the oven. They look good. They smell good. And so I'm just going to dump them out onto the cooling racks. That way they get nice and cool, and then we'll start working on our buttercream. The easiest way, that I like to do it is I put my tray, my cooling rack on top, and then I kind of just flip it all at the same time, like so. And then I can, hopefully, this will just pop out. Yay, it just popped out. That's what I like. And we will let these cool, and then we will work on our buttercream. So we're gonna go on to our lemon buttercream, and I'm gonna add in, it's 1 whole cup of butter, but I'm adding a half a cup or 1 stick of salted butter. If you don't have salted butter, you can add in 2 sticks of regular butter, and then maybe like 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. But I find that if you get the salted butter, it just is able to blend better. You don't get that grainy texture from the salt. That's a whole stick of salted room temperature butter, and then a whole stick of regular room temperature butter. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and blend up our 2 sticks of butter. And we want that to be a very light, fluffy, whipped. It even lightens in color. Texture, and I'll show you what that looks like, because before I was making buttercream, I didn't know how much you actually had to whip this butter first, and it almost expands in size. Like I said, it lightens in color, and it gets really nice and fluffy. And before, I just didn't realize that's what you're supposed to do until I saw a video, and then I was like, oh, that's what it looks like. So I'll show you too. Okay, so before, this is where I would stop. So I was like, okay, it's all mixed in, it's great. This is like 30 seconds in. This isn't gonna do anything. You wanna whip this for like 4 or 5 minutes. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, all right, so this is what I'm looking for. This is a lot lighter color, and it's very fluffy and smooth. And now we are going to add confectioner sugar or icing sugar. And we're gonna do about 2.5 cups in total, but we're only gonna add a little at a time. And it might be that we add a little less than 2.5 cups. It might be that we add a little bit more. It's all what kind of consistency you like, and kind of what the temperature of your house is like as well. If your house is a little warm, you might wanna add a little bit more just to stiffen it up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dump a little bit of this in right now. Okay, so now that we have most of our sugar mixed in, I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of lemon extract. And if you don't have lemon extract, just feel free to grate up a lemon and juice it, and it will work just the same. And actually what I'm gonna do is, I do have a lemon here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and grate up a little bit of the peel to put right into our buttercream, because that'll add not only flavor, but just a little texture, a little bit of color. So really that's just like maybe a teaspoon of lemon zest. It's not too much. You can always add more or less or none at all if you don't want any. Mix that up a little bit. All right, I'm gonna add in the rest of my confectioner sugar. Now, and like I said before, if we want to add more, we can always add more. All right, so that's actually really quite thick. And if you wanted to make this a lighter color, more of a white, you can add the tiniest little bit of purple, and that'll counterbalance the yellow, and it'll make your frosting look a little bit lighter. But actually, since this is supposed to be lemon, I want to add a little tiny bit of yellow, and it's just the slightest amount, and I'm using a yellow gel. Gel is the best you can use for your frostings because it doesn't change the consistency of it. Okay, so now that our cakes have cooled down and we have our buttercream made, we're just gonna go ahead and assemble it. And this is super simple. We're not trying to do anything fancy. We're just, I mean, this is, if you want to do something fancy and do design, that's up to you. But this is just like a fun little family time cake. Something great for the summertime. So I'm just literally just gonna spread this on here. Looks a little bit like butter, but it smells better. And if you want to do some like piping technique or something like that, feel free. I just think this doesn't need a whole lot. All right, so I got this all on. It's basically a naked cake or a nearly naked cake, and I decided it just looks so plain, so maybe I want to add a couple decorations. Nothing much. I just had a tiny bit of leftover, like literally a large dollop of the icing, and so I mixed up some green for some leaves, and then some purple for some little blueberries or something on top, which if I had thought ahead of time, I would have saved some blueberries off to the side for decorating, but we'll live and learn. So this one is just a small round tip, and that's what I'm gonna make my blueberries with. Messed up. Just a little round berry-like things. And this is your standard leaf. It has the kind of weird like open beak of a bird's mouth, and that's what gives you the leaves. And you want to do it with the beak side open. Have the large side, this side is going to be facing out. That's going to give you your leaf shape. So the little points should be facing forward. Again, I'll show you an up close view right here. So we're just going to go in and we're just going to kind of point at it, and it makes that little ripple, which is really cute. See? Simple. And then I'll just do a few more. There you have it. All right, so there is my cake. Put little details on the side. And I think that it just came out really cute. But all up to you guys too. So if you want to see more desserts and pastries like these, please like and subscribe to my channel below. Thank you and have a great day, everybody.